Good evening, Dhamma friends. Wish you the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem for happy and peaceful 1 hour Sutta studies. Today is June 12th, Saturday evening. We are going to start this evening Sutta studies. I would like to welcome you all, those who join with us through YouTube, Zoom, and also live stream. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Let us begin this evening Sutta studies by paying homage to the Buddha 3 times in Pali and also in English. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends, we have been discussing one of the very important discourses in the entire Tripitaka, that is called Mahachattarisaka Sutta. This sutta is the 117 in the Majjhima Nikaya. The translation is the Great 40. We started the discussion of based on this particular discourse last week, and we covered many aspects of the discourse and how it could relate to us in terms of understanding the Dhamma and also in terms of experiencing the Dhamma. We have touched that type of implications of the sutta. So we are going to finish the discourse today by discussing the second part of the discourse. As I remember, we were talking about the importance of right view and also two more important factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. Those who join us today for the first time, at least those who did not participate in the sutta discussion last week, these two people could not be able to get the importance of the discourse. Therefore, I would like to summarize of what we discussed last week and also give an overview about the discourse in short. Therefore, everybody could follow the discourse. Friends, this discourse is really important to understand the noble right concentration. The Buddha's teaching is really significant because of many reasons. One of the reasons we have in this discourse is noble right concentration. It's called Samma Ariyo Samma Samadhi. Those who attain to supreme state of the Noble Eightfold Path experience Samma Samadhi, and that Samma Samadhi is not equal to someone who has already in the path below Sotapanna. So therefore, it is very important for us to understand that there is noble right concentration. That is the main purpose of the discourse. Having that as the main purpose of the discourse, we also get to understand how the Noble Eightfold Path is being explained beyond the noble eight qualities. This is one of the discourses and very important discourse that the Buddha talks about 10 types of path. We come across this somewhere else as well in the Tripitaka, but this is a very complete discourse about the 10 factors. Basically, you heard about the Noble Eightfold Path in the fourth Noble Truths of the Four Noble Truth. But here we have two more added to the Noble Eightfold Path as right knowledge and right liberation. So that is a significant thing. The other thing I just want to share with you is the uh, mundane right view and supramundane right view, and also mundane Noble Eightfold Path and the supramundane Noble Eightfold Path. This is a very important discourse that the Buddha talks about the two type of noble qualities. The other important thing we discussed last week, how the right view, samadhi, and right effort, samma vayam, and right mindfulness, samma sati, come together to develop the noble qualities. In other words, we came to know that these three important factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, cycle around each and every noble qualities in the entire teaching to make them strong and accurate and leading towards the Nibbana. So, as we know, Nibbana is a result of practicing wholesome qualities, kusala. So in that case, the Noble Eightfold Path is a kusala path, or the path of skillfulness that brings enlightenment. So when you practice any type of noble quality or kusala, you have to have the right view, right effort, and right mindfulness together. Then only that nibbana we expect from the Buddha's teaching, result as it is. So that is a very good revelation for all of us, because a lot of people think that uh, one quality of the Noble Eightfold Path could be practiced at a time, and then after that, step by step, we can go to each quality. Friends, the Noble Eightfold Path and also the other teachings of the Buddha have been explained on the basis of Paticcasamuppada. So we can see that link in between two qualities, in between three cardinal qualities such as right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. So Paticcasamuppada is being included into each Dhamma factor in the Buddha's teaching. So we can see that how Paticcasamuppada work here. So we were able to discuss about right view last week, and we went into details of mundane 10 type of right view, and also Michaditi 10 type of wrong view. And then we discuss how right view come into completion. One makes an effort to first of all, we should have right view, understand wrong view. That is the beginning of practicing right view. Then once you understand wrong view as wrong view by the help of right view, you make an effort to abandon wrong view. So in the first place, you understand wrong view as wrong view, and now you need the effort, noble effort to make the wrong view away from you. And that is how right effort, samma vayam, come into play. And then how do you make your right effort play there mindfully? That's how mindfulness come into play. So meeting of these right view, right effort, and right mindfulness complete the right view factor. So we were discussing about right intention to samma, sankappa, how that samma sankappa come into exist and develop into completion. With right view, you understand wrong view as wrong view, right? When you understand wrong view as wrong view, you take the effort there to abandon wrong view, because with the support of right view, you have done the initial research to decide that wrong view is wrong. So we now, and Destruction part of wrong view should be done. So just that knowledge, uh, is not enough or adequate to do that. Therefore, right effort should come to help right view to abandon it. Then how do you abandon it? Mindfully. So mindfully you abandon wrong view. Therefore, we can say right view, right effort, right mindfulness act together to destroy a wrong view and developed right view, and right here in this case destroy wrong intention and then develop right intention. So we talk about the uh, right speech as well. So they are like the other two. We should have right view just to understand wrong view as wrong view. If you do not develop right view as the forerunner for each and every noble qualities, there is no chance of seeing the danger of wrong view. The fallacy of wrong view could not be understood if there is no right view. So right view come into play in the first place as the leader of the group to decide that this is wrong. There we discuss, telling lies and telling gossip, and then harsh speech and the useless, frivolous talks. These are the four type of unwholesome talks. So that is decided by the right view. So once the right view, is there to decide wrong speech as wrong speech, right effort and right mindfulness come as a group to abandon wrong speech and to develop right speech. That's what we discussed last week. So now we begin with right action. Because right view come first as usual. Say Sammaditi is playing the major role in this case as well. How does right view come first? One understand wrong action as wrong action and right as action as right action. This is one's right view. So when you comes to a single quality like right action, right speech, and so on, there you develop right uh, view as well. So when you try to understand killing living beings, harming living being is wrong, stealing is wrong, sensual and sexual misconduct is wrong. On the other side, you developed right view, right intention too. Not only the right action, your right view, right intention, right speech, and every other important noble qualities come to develop into a certain extent. So not only your primary focus, prominent focus is right action, but when you try for that, there is a chance of developing other noble qualities. That is significant in this training. So what is uh, wrong action? One understand wrong action as wrong action and right action as right action. This is one's right view. And what is wrong action? Killing living beings, taking what is not given, and misconduct in sensual pleasures. This is wrong action. So basically the first three principles of the five precepts uh, is primarily focused here. So violating these three is called wrong action. And what is right action? Very simple. Right action is twofold. One is mundane and the other one is supramundane. So mundane right action, as you know, producing merits. And those who have in the training before or below Sotapanna are considered, considered practicing this mundane right action. And those who have attained to Sotapanna and above and beyond that, they practice supramundane right action. So that is how we have twofold right action. Uh, because right action, what is right action? That is noble, taintless, supramundane, a factor of the noble path. Desisting from the three kinds of bodily misconduct, abandoning, refraining, abstinent from them in one whose mind is noble, whose mind is stainless, who possesses the noble path and is developing the noble path. That is right action, which is supramundane. So now you understand that right action, uh, which is supramundane level, in supramundane level, is taintless, and that is being practiced by those great individuals. One makes an effort to abandon wrong action and to enter upon right action. This is one's right effort. So as before, when we discuss the noble, how noble qualities come and play together to abandon wrong factor and to develop right factor, here we can say right view come first to understand wrong action as wrong action and right action as right action. Having completed the uh, that decision, uh, their right effort comes and help the right view to destroy or abandon wrong action. So how does wrong action is being abandoned mindfully? So mindfulness, sati, comes into play. So this is these three states run and cycle around right action. That is right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. Uh, Next one, right livelihood, because right view come first. And how does right view come first? One understand wrong livelihood as wrong livelihood and right livelihood as right. So in understanding noble qualities, this right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, as the fifth, is not that detail, I mean. But we can understand this factor as a combination of right words, right action, right mindfulness, right view, right intention, and it's a combination of various things. Those who have right livelihood definitely follow ethical principles. They are compassionate. They do not disturb anyone, any living beings, because they value their others' life. They follow natural ethical principles to make their life happy, and wherever they go, they think about others. So those are some of the important qualities of those people who have right livelihood. So as I told you at the very beginning of the class, in the summarized version for the last week class, I told you that Paticca the dependent origination, is playing a major role in this teaching. Each path factor starting from right view is connected to other on the basis of Paticca. If there is no Sammaditi, there is no Samma Sankappa. And if there is no right intention, there is no right speech. And without right speech, there won't be right action. So in each path factor, we can see that those three cardinal principles, factors, play a big role. So you can see how one support the other and how these factors of the Noble Eightfold Path connected together. So these limbs of enlightenment could be playing that way. Therefore, the result is those enlightened state. So here we see right livelihood as it is. And let me read that part. what is wrong livelihood? That is the first thing we need to understand. Um, Skimming, talking, hinting, belittling, pursuing again with gain, that is wrong livelihood. So if people have those agendas, hidden agendas to take advantage, and if you use your words to look down upon others, especially those who are working with you in the office, because you need to get profits, you need to be highlighted by the team leader, by the CEO, by people. So you might do something. And then if you feel jealousy of someone else's accomplishment, so you might do something just to make your mind happy based on jealousy, and also to discredit these people. So stealing is there, and anything harmful could be included when you have included into wrong livelihood. So wrong livelihood is therefore is a combination of various misdeeds. So understanding wrong view as wrong view is really important. What is right livelihood? Because right livelihood, I say, is twofold. As you know, that is right livelihood that is affected by taints, partaking of merits, and ripening in the acquisition. And there is right livelihood that is noble, taintless, supramundane, a factor of the path. So it is very clear that there are two parts, two fold of two right livelihood as well. So um, because uh, one makes an effort to abandon wrong livelihood and to enter upon right livelihood, that is one's right effort. First, right view come to decide the wrong livelihood as wrong livelihood and right as right. So that is the first thing. So then right effort is there to abandon wrong livelihood and let right livelihood develops. So how this two function of the right view happens mindfully. Samma Sati is playing a big role here for right view and right effort to abandon, understand right, right livelihood as livelihood and wrong livelihood as wrong, and also develop. So always keep that way of developing these important qualities in your mind. Therefore, it would be easy for you to apply it. So basically, it is a simple formula, but when we comes to practical, part, we need to remember this. We need to remember this. For example, if you happen to experience a kind of wrong livelihood, not not yourself, but somebody else, you can see and analyze the incident based on these three important qualities. Okay, you see that that particular person you come to know about wrong livelihood has done this, and then you see how his mind is was geared by greed, hatred, and ignorance. When his mind was with any of those unwholesome state prominently, it is his wrong view. When greed, hatred, ignorance, or any other unwholesomeness arose in his mind or anyone else's mind, we would expect them to have wrong view. When there is wrong view, right action would be going away from them, and wrong action could be the result. So you see how wrong action is going on in their life, and then wrong right action would be disappearing. So in order to have right view, you have to analyze it. You have to understand the danger. You have to understand how dangerous this way of life uh, with suffering. And so you then turn your mind open towards that particular incident and apply right understanding. You know, I took the example from somebody else experience. You see that wrong livelihood. So then you understand how this wrong livelihood come into play because of lack of right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. So there you get the examples that I do not diminish or decrease right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, because I would be in the same position if these three qualities decrease day by day. Therefore, the wise people always put these three important qualities activated and developed because that is the way you get out of problems. Friends, not only you wait for these unwholesomeness to arise to apply them, you can practice the wholesome qualities well before you experience something negative. Therefore, you have less chances of negative qualities, negative, unwholesome factors of your mind. So we can see that some individuals during the time of the Buddha were so good in their lay life, and they did not worry about their long-term practice. When they came to the order, they quickly attained to different stages of enlightenment just because they had a very peaceful flow of life with wholesome qualities. So where monks like Venerable Rahula, we didn't hear any of bad deeds he was doing as a young boy. He was quite good from the very beginning of his life, and he was ordained as he was very young. Then he was very curious about the Dhamma. He was practicing Dhamma very well. Therefore, he attained to enlightenment. Why do I take this monk's story? Because he did not have wrong view. He did not have wrong intention, wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood in his life at all, as Rahula. So therefore, he was able to apply the right thing at the very beginning, and I don't think that he had, very, profound unwholesomeness in his mind to abandon. But what this story tells us that even if you are so good, just remember the fact that the right view comes first, just to understand the wrong view as wrong view and right view as right view. In this case, right livelihood as right livelihood, and wrong livelihood as wrong livelihood. That is the first duty of the right view with regard to right livelihood. So the first duty of the right view with regard to Samma Ajiva is to clear about that for us. So that is right livelihood. From here of the discourse, we see that the Buddha talks about the Great 40. When I read this discourse for the first time, I did not get the point of the discourse. Why did the Buddha explain only five factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, and then directly went to explain about the Great 40? But over reading over and over again, and also through some analysis, I came to know that all the wholesome factors in the Noble Eightfold Path have been explained when you come to the right livelihood. How? If you look at the discourse again, right view has been explained very well. It has been explained mundane level and also supramundane level. And we have seen the Buddha explain wrong view in tenfold and right view in tenfold. They are all in between mundane, explanation. Then each path factor after that, such as right intention, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, are explain in details and how they come to abandon, and how the positive side should be developed, and so forth. So there you have right effort and right mindfulness, because each path factor develop with the support of right view, right effort, right mindfulness. So what is missing? We talk about the right effort, sorry, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood. And when we come to when we came to discussion of all these five, we discuss right effort and right mindfulness in each explanation, in each path factor. But if one thing is missing now, what is that? Right concentration. The very purpose of the discourse is to explain how noble right concentration is developed, further developed to the level of Supramanya. So now you can understand that how right concentration come into maturity. How? You need to have the 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path before the right concentration, starting from right view. You have to have other 6 noble 8 qualities to develop right concentration. Isn't this important? Because some people mistakenly understand that even Alar Kalama, Uddaka Putta had some type of samadhi, and why we could not see the similarities of that samadhi to the samadhi that the Buddha practiced and used, and all other fourfold disciples experienced and used for their enlightenment. Friends, do you see the importance now? Right samadhi or right concentration in the Noble Eightfold Path is there because of the other 7 factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. In other words, Samma Samadhi is being developed by any individuals uh, while they complete the training on Sammaditthi, Samma Sankappa, and other 5 important qualities of the Noble Eightfold Path. So altogether, now we know the fact that Buddha has explained the Noble Eightfold Path in full form with details up to this level of the discourse. Now Buddha talks about bhikkhus. Right view come first, and how does right view come first? In one of right view, right intention come into being. So see, you can see the Paticcasamuppada theory here. When one has right view, there he can develop right intention. In one of right view, right intention comes into being. In one of right intention, right speech comes into being. In one of right speech, right action comes into being. In one of right action, right livelihood comes into being. In one of right livelihood, right effort comes into being. In one of right effort, right mindfulness comes into being. In one of right mindfulness, right concentration come into being. So far, you have been going through the Noble Eightfold Path. The significant thing in this explanation is that one should represent there, or one should come into play with all the powers to let the other next quality to be developed. In other words, the previous quality is the main reason for the preceding quality to come into exist. Samma Ditti should be there for Samma, Sankappa to be developed in that way, in such a way. And some with some intention or right intention, right speech develop. This is very scientific. This is very practical. Let's take some examples. Perhaps you fed up with your life because of so many problems uh, and suffering and stress, no happiness at all, no matter what you do. So you are fed up with life. So you understand that if I go out of these troublemaking people and things to do and find a place of to live peacefully, so you find kind of samadhi in this analysis because you are fed up with all kinds of stressful situation. You understand that this life is valuable, important, so I might go away from these bad association people, and then jobs to be done and responsibilities. Now you have right view. So as a result of that clear analysis about what is good and good for his life or her life and what is bad for his life or her life, now he has good intention. What is good intention mean? It is thought of renunciation, compassion, and kindness. So you find uh, you found out the way you live is making so much stress for you, and you understand it, and now you find a way out of it. So therefore, you have a peaceful state of mind. Your compassion, kindness, and also letting go of those troublemaking life is completing your right intention. So when now you have right intention just because of right analysis, right view, right understanding. So just because of right intention in your mind now, your speech would be wholesome too. Because of your wholesome, approachable, humble speech, your actions wouldn't be bad. It would also be good and wholesome. And when you do right things, your livelihood, your whole living would be peaceful too. Now, having these five with the support of right effort and right mindfulness, can't you get your mind concentrated? Of course, you can do. So that's how we should follow the Noble Eightfold Path in our daily practices. That's why we stress so much the importance of right view, Sammaditthi, to be developed in our life. Just look at the entire life. Just compare your life to others, not because you want to, showcase that you are so good, not others, but because you want to understand the truth. Friends, comparison is good if you use it for something wholesome. Suppose one of your friends die or experience so much problems, so many problems, then you compare yourself to that person. If I were in that situation, what could I do? And suppose one of your friends accomplished a lot in his or her life, so you compare your life. What could happen to me if I were in that same situation? Right? Suppose you go to a funeral and one of your friends passed away. So looking at the dead body, you consider that I would also experience the same thing in the future. So how could I prepare for this situation? So you can compare yourself to others in number of ways positively to develop your dharma. So that's how you develop right view, samma, ditti in the mundane sense. At the same time, you think that I have been living for 60 or 50 years now. So I have been gone to many places in the world. I have been associating all kinds of people, but happiness that I experience from these things are not that wholesome. So I think I should stop this race and practice some type of peaceful method of living. And how about if I give some time myself to meditate? So that is right view. So over the course of constant suffering, dukkha, internally and externally, affecting internally and externally, you get the point that this life is under suffering. That is rousing your right view. There you develop compassion for you and everybody else, and kindness, and you do not collect material things anymore, and you let go of things slowly. Help poor people, help sick people. You treat your family members with compassion, and earlier you were so anxious to collect a lot of money in the account and buy all kinds of materials to make your life easier, but you have understood with many experiences that those material things haven't given you that solid deep peace and happiness. Therefore you are to let go them off for some worthy causes. That is so now can you see that how right intention come into accomplishment, come into complete state of it. There you now you having understood that life is in a state of flux, in impermanence and suffering. You develop right view, right intention. Therefore you never use your words to hurt somebody else. It is being used for seeing truth and delivering truth, sharing truth, and you make others happy by talking to them. And earlier you were not controlling your speech, but now you have a control. Selecting words would be a significant thing in your speech now. So you make others happy by using your speech. So that is your right speech, basically. Then you never even think about harming living beings, stealing, and misconduct by every means. That is your right action. And with these things, don't you have right livelihood? So as you come to this level, your effort has been fulfilled, right? Effort has been accomplished into a greater extent, and you have been doing all these things from the very top mindfully with the application of Samma Sati. So now your mind is concentrated well. Wherever you go, your mind is away from sensual pleasures. No anger arising in your mind. So your mind is easily concentrated onto the important necessary Dhamma factors. Haven't you now, uh, you know, completed the Noble Eightfold Path into a greater extent? So you experience it from your behavior. You see the Noble Eightfold Path in your life. So here, uh, that's why we try to show you how the dependent origination is playing very well. So Buddha continues from here. Right concentration come into being when one have right mindfulness. In one of right concentration, right knowledge come into being. In one of right knowledge, right deliverance come into being. Thus, because the path of the disciple in higher training possesses 8 factors and the Arahant possesses 10 factors. So, if you have been surrounding the 8 noble factors, you are not Arahant anymore. But when you practice the noble 8 qualities into the level in which you could be able to destroy all type of craving, you get the next 2 level of the noble 10 type of noble factors, that is right knowledge and right uh, liberation or right release, Samma Jnana and Samma Vimukti. So here we see that the Anagami, the once once returner, and the Sakrudagami once returner, and the Sotapanna, stream enterer, these people, and also the path, people who are on the path of all these, enlightened, enlightened state except the Sotapanna, they have been practicing the Noble Eightfold Path in the supramundane level. So the Arahants who completed the Noble Eightfold Path reached to the ninth and 10th, and they complete simultaneously at the time of attainment to enlightenment. In other words, having completed the 9 and 10 means the person who complete the training of the Noble Eightfold Path reach to the full enlightened state. So because right view come first, and how does right view come first? Again, there is a statement like that. In one of right view, wrong view is abandoned. So now we are into understand how great 40 come. So Buddha explained, in one of right view, wrong view is abandoned. Abandoned, and many evil, unwholesome state that originate with wrong view as condition are also abolished. And the many wholesome state that originate with right view as condition come to fulfillment by the development. So now we are going to understand how great 40 comes, how 40 factors come into in this discourse. This is how the Buddha explained. When you have right view, right? So that is the first one. With right view, what you do, you understand that there is a wrong view, and you are going to abandon wrong view. So now right view is there. Now wrong view is abandoned. When you abandon wrong view, okay, when you abandon wrong view, what exactly abandon? Only just wrong view? No. Any consequences of wrong view also abandoned when you abandon the wrong view. That completes 3. So as a result of the appearance of right view and abandoning wrong view, and also the results of wrong view, there is the good results of, or the the good results of right view also come into play. That's how one factor come into come as 4 ways. Let me tell you again. So suppose you understand that your life is full of stress. It has been in so many issues and problems and chaotic situation. So you understand that this is because of tanha, this is because of attachment, this is because I did not understand what life is. So you have understood every reasons for this stressful life. So you treat well, and you come out of the problem. So this is the example I take here to explain the 4 with one factor. So when you understand that your life is under suffering, in a stressful situation, that is right view of you. So when you understand that your life is in a state of chaotic situation, right view come into play, and wrong view, because that suffering came into exist because of wrong view. Wrong view is abandoned there. Not only wrong view, not only wrong way of living is abandoned, any reasons that helps you lived in that chaotic situation also abandoned. Then you have right view. As a result of right view, you are going to have wholesome results. You are feeling good now, and your mind is peaceful, and so forth. So we can see that 4 things with one factor, 4 things could be counted with right view. But it right view, and because of right view, you understand wrong view and abandon it. And not only this wrong view abandon, anything entail with the wrong view also abandon, and you have good results of right view as well. So when you go to the right intention, there it is said in one of right intention, wrong intention is abolished or abandoned. And many evil, unwholesome state that originate with wrong intention as condition are also abandoned. Three, and many wholesome state that originate with right intention as condition come to fulfillment by development. So now we, with regard to second factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, we have four. In one right intention, therefore wrong intention is gone with its results, and you have the good results of wrong in right intention. Likewise, friends, we can say uh, four things of each path factor up to right concentration, like wrong view right view come first, then wrong view is gone with it results, and good results of right view come first. So four. Likewise, we have four in each factor. That's how great 40 come into being. If you do not understand, we can discuss them uh, during the discussion period. So I'm going to finish this section of the discourse. Because Buddha said there are 20 factors on the side of the wholesome and 20 factors of the side of the unwholesome. This Dhamma discourse on the Great 40 has been set rolling and cannot be stopped by any recluse or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or anyone in the world. So Buddha is very clear and very profound and very brave, and he's making a lion roar with this teaching. There is no one in the universe to say that this is wrong. These great 40 are fundamentally accurate according to the truth, and there is no one to turn it upside down, saying that this is wrong. Only the Buddha could have that kind of statement, no any other religious leaders in the world, because Buddha is enlightened. Buddha has seen the truth. Therefore, he said that there is no one in this vast universe, in any realm, who could come and say that this is wrong. Because if any recluse or Brahmin thinks that this Dhamma discourse on the Great 40 should be censored and rejected, then there are 10 legitimate deductions from his assertion that would provide grounds for censoring him or him here and now. If that worthy one censored right view, then he would honor and praise those recluse and Brahmin who are of wrong view. If that worthy of one, if that worthy one censored right intention, then he would honor and praise those recluse and Brahmin who are who are of wrong intention. So if there is anyone who could say that this is wrong, any of the 10 factors could wrong, they are actually standing on the wrong side, because there is no chance, there is no any ground for anyone to say this is wrong, because not because Buddha said it himself, but because we can test it. We can feel that all these 10 factors, at least couple of, could be right from our own experience. So once you enter into the noble state like fruition level, you definitely taste it on your own, without any change. But even before that, as noble individual who practice the Dhamma into certain level can experience that these are right. So Buddha had such a lion roar, a very brave statement here in the within the discourse, that nobody is here or ever in this universe to reject this. Um, If any recluse or Brahmin thinks that this Dhamma discourse on the Great 40 should be censored and rejected, then these are 10 legitimate deduction from his assertion that would provide ground for censoring him here and now. Because even those teachers from Okala, Vassa, and Banya who held the doctrine of non-causality, the doctrine of non-doing, and the doctrine of nihilism would not think that this Dhamma discourse on the Great 40 should be censored and rejected. Why is that? For fear of blame, attack, or confutation. So the Buddha mentioned here three type of uh, generation or teachers of generation: Okkala, Vassa, Banya. They were very famous in understanding the Triveda, and also they were type of group that had been coming from long time of many things. So even they do not come and reject this Great 40 because they are afraid of bad reputation, and they are afraid of fear of blame, because when somebody come and say that these Great 40 are wrong, wise people and people who have been knowing about this could censor that you are totally wrong, you are misguided people. So therefore, the other religious leaders might attack to your character. They might, you know, they might do something silly like, throwing stones and stuffing your food, and destroying shrine and buildings and monasteries, but nobody could come and deny this Great 40 at all, because they fear of censor, they fear of blame, they fear of bad reputation, because Buddha said this is so powerful. This is what the Buddha said at last, and the bhikkhus who were there were so satisfied and delighted in the Buddha's teaching. Friends, this is the Mahachattarīsaka Sutta. Uh, for me, it is a very inspiring discourse, because I can see the connection of each noble factors, and I could apply it to and see how it works into a certain extent. I think you all have that understanding of how these 10 factors of the negative side and also wholesome side come into play in us, and how we stuff negative side of our mind and develop the positive side. So having done this discourse, I mean, by the Buddha expected from disciples to speed up their training on the Noble Eightfold Path. Here we have the other important set of teaching like Satipatthana and the Noble, enlightened qualities, as said in the 37 factors. So everything is included in this. So this discourse is therefore very important for us to see the links between the noble qualities. So that is the Mahachattarīsaka Sutta. So now we can have a discussion about the Dhamma. So I can see somebody is having Dr. Pial. In this, is this not related to wrong livelihood? Mendicants, lay followers should not engage in these 5 trades. What 5? Trade in weapon, living, trade in weapons, living creatures, meat, intoxicants, and poisons. Lay followers should not engage in this. Actually, it's not a question. So Dr. Pial shared with others in the chatting box about right livelihood, and actually where right livelihood and also other noble qualities could be vary from person to person. For example, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis should practice the same path, and the gravity and the depth and the level they practice would be different from lay people, because they have to practice with many duties. Therefore, they have to work as doctors, as lawyers, engineers, farmers, business people, and they have so many professions. So when you do your work, you have to be away from any unwholesomeness with it. Suppose as a farmer, you should not destroy the nature and the wildlife, and you should not sell your products cheating people, and you should not use you know any harmful additions to your products, because it is wrong. You might use different chemicals to make your food very colorful, but when people eat them, they become sick very easily and in a short period of time. I think these are wrong livelihood, as he mentioned here, with a link with a website of to about the sutta, I guess, in the Sutta Central. So you can read how wrong livelihood come into play as lay people. And as monks, if we use different type of things that the Buddha rejected, such as reading horoscope and making people fear out of different things, that is wrong livelihood for monks. And if we live in this life just for benefits, such as material and also refutation, that is wrong livelihood for monks. And if monks live this in this life just because they have enough food, they have place to live, and they do not have any problems to pay their bills, that is wrong livelihood. So for monks, and that's why I told you that wrong livelihood and other factors of the noble eightfold path could be different depending on the lifestyle you have, and the level of practice could be increased by anyone. But as a monk, the related social and individual and other factors would be different from lay people. But at the end, we all should practice the noble right livelihood and other important factors. Thank you very
Bante,
much.
the question I have is, I know that's a kind of some kind of guideline, but Buddha has not explicitly said what is wrong livelihood and what is right. I mean, for example, right speech, right intention. He has explicitly said that, but
Yeah,
in the wrong livelihood, he said, do not engage in a wrong livelihood. But he doesn't. In this sutra, like a kind of a some he touches something, but I just shared the other sutra. All this while I was thinking as a layperson, these are the four kind of you should not engage in these trades. It's
yeah.
wrong livelihood. But why didn't he explicitly say like what is? Because I mean, I don't know. Is there a reason you can think of like at that point, at that time of Buddha's time? Why didn't he say this is like wrong speech? This is wrong. These are the four things, right? Why didn't he say that?
You are right. It's a very good point for a research actually. Why did Buddha did not mention specific things under this right and right livelihood? That is strange, because we can say what exactly we have under right view, right intention, right speech, right action, and right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, but not with this middle factor. That's why I I I mentioned in the my explanation that this could be a uh, combination of right action, right speech, right intention, right effort, and also part of right effort and mindfulness and concentration. Because right livelihood, being in the middle, tells us that you have right livelihood when you have uh, certain amount of all the other seven. As a layperson, for example, if you have right in right view, right intention, into a certain extent, you are away from violating five principles. You are away from misdeed in that level. So I think that's why he did not mention specifically about things you need to do in this right livelihood. But when we comes to monk's life, uh, it has been widely explained that your monkhood is nothing if you do tirasthina vidya. In Digha Nikaya, we come across many things in some in Samanyapala, in Aganya, in many discourses. Monks should not do these things. What are these things? You come to this life just to speed up your training to enlightenment, and if you live in this life forgetting your intention of this life, you are in wrong livelihood. There Buddha mentioned many such activities that some monks did at that time, because they were Brahmin or Paribrajaka or other type of life. Before they came to the orders, they started doing the same thing. They were reading people's facial expression just to tell that this happened to you in the future. They were talking about horoscope, they were talking about stars, and they were messengers in a way from country to country, and sometimes they were servants of in a spice agency, and they were helping trade. So monks and nuns were doing things that are not related to their life. Therefore Buddha said that you have wrong livelihood. So in that case, we can see that some indirect statement about wrong livelihood uh, of monks, and also factors for right livelihood of monks. If you behave well, compassionately with people when you meet, and if you've let these principle activated in your life and practice for foundation and other important qualities, you are a perfect monk. So I think that's how Buddha explained the right livelihood in the Noble Eightfold Path in details, not there under that title, but in other discourses. Uh, yeah, your question is right. I don't know exactly why he did not mention uh, some bullet points, factors with bullet point under right livelihood, because I my view is that it is scattered, it is so much, so that he left that statement. Wrong livelihood is the way of life that harmful for yourself and others, and right livelihood is this and that.
Also,
So
Bhante, I think maybe he didn't want to put people down by saying these certain professions are bad, because Buddha never did that,
And at
so
that time, there were farmers and like people,
selling alcohol, things like that, and even like certain people who were like dancers, all kinds
so
of,
they were worried about disparaging or let people decide what are maybe some implicit, like not indirect indications rather than
guidelines all
directly
the
giving
time.
you, so this is bad, don't do that kind of thing
yeah,
maybe.
Buddha was a very compassionate person,
Absolutely.
so that he wanted to he let those misguided people come and begin the training. So if the Buddha were in a positions to blame those people, they were never come to
Yeah,
unhappiness. So yeah, could be that reason made Buddha to explain some dhamma, but he has been compassionately explaining that if you do this, with the way of the Buddha to tell something. If you do this, these are the good results. If you do the do this is other results. So that's the invitation of the Buddha with the karma for people to decide what is good for themselves and others, and bad, and so on. So I think yes, I'm agree to your point. that Buddha was compassionately looking at people in telling the Dhamma as well. In Singaluvada, Vyaggapajja, Parabhava, so those discourses indicate that one should not do these things because they decrease their possibility of peace and happiness for long term, for the long run. So when the Buddha explained the Noble Eightfold Path in this manner over and over again, people are to know about what exactly they should not do. And in other words, Buddha come to right livelihood after he explaining right view, right intention, and other important, very important quality. Therefore, I think Buddha assumed that people are in a positions to understand what right livelihood and wrong livelihood as well. Because just like the engine part of a vehicle, the right view comes first always, and Buddha has been explaining it in different ways, and even Venerable Sariputta. I think with right view in action, you can understand what exactly you should not do in life, in living, and what you should do in living as a monk or nuns, as a layperson or ordained person. I think these would be possible reasons why the Buddha, keep it short compared to the other path factors, and let people understand the significance of it. Yeah, that's why we have mundane path, supramundane path. We cannot expect even Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami never speak bad words. We never found any indication that so even Sotapanna tells lies, gossip and harsh speech. Even the Sotapanna has the possibility of getting angry and engage with sensual pleasures, kama raga. We do not see that the Sotapanna violate any the speech with all these four types of wrong speeches. So therefore we have supramundane path factor for Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and their livelihood is much more different than those normal average people. And when it comes to right action, what is right action of a Sotapanna? What is right action of a Sakadagami, Anagami? We can see different categories of right action, right right effort, right mindfulness. And that's why I mentioned earlier that depending on personality, the level of Noble Eightfold Path could be different. We have been given here mundane and supramundane, two type of path factors, but we can see different type of Noble Eightfold Path, especially depending on characters. So before Sotapanna, we all practice mundane path. But we can see Saddhanusari, the faith follower and the truth follower. There would be a little difference between these two. But when one attains to Sotapanna, now his immediate intention is to attain Sakadagami, immediate proximate level he should go. It doesn't mean that everybody go to Sakadagami level and then to the next stage and to enlightenment. Many people might attain to Arahantship directly. So anyway, my point is that the Noble Eightfold Path that the Sotapanna would practice there would be totally different from the previous two individuals, because the gravity is different and the level he got would be different. So thank you so much for your contribution. We have a question. Bhante, doesn't Bante doesn't know dealing with arms, doesn't dealing with arms, alcohol, etc. were specified as wrong livelihood. You know what? Right speech, right action, and livelihood are called Silakan. And we can link uh, these three, uh, 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, and all the precepts for monks and nuns to these three factors of the Noble Eightfold Path that is scattered in the entire Tripitaka. So, selling arms and selling alcohol, drinking alcohol, and slavery, all these things are some type of illegal professions for individuals. But from the government level, selling arms would be a profitable, business, and alcohol. But we talk about here individual in the individual level. Buddha's teaching is mainly focused individual, not the whole society. So when we comes to individual level, if you do a job to sell arms and alcohol as your own business, I would say you have to stop it. It is totally wrong. But if you suppose you get the job of in a wine store, in a restaurant where you have to serve alcohol, that is your duty. You internally think that this is wrong, but it is a part of my duty, therefore I have to serve it. I don't think that he accumulate demerits out of it, because he has or she has right understanding that this is a part of my duty and so on. Suppose you are working in a huge company where weapons and arms and all these machines and things, material things produced for war. So you know that these are used not for peace and happiness. They are used to show the power and kill enemies. But that is the job you are given, and no other jobs that you could earn money and protect your family. I think if you understand that what you are doing there and what your intention, I never say that you are accumulating demerits, because that is your duty. So uh, when you uh, when you do these things as an individual in your own business, I would say, because you have the full freedom to decide. You have decided that I run this business just because of this and that, and I need more money. So that is violating. But if you work for a company and there is no other option, I would say you don't violate these principles. But if suppose fishing, this is where we can argue a lot about this, but I would say that fishing is a business or profession that many people do in the world. But as a Buddhist, as a follower of the Buddha, what is your intention of life? You do a job just to provide yourself and your family enough basic requirements, and if you see that you yourself kill living beings, basically there you kill living beings directly. But in alcohol, in other selling arms and so forth, you help the society indirectly to violate ethical and principles. But in this fishing business, you kill um, perhaps yourself, but perhaps you work in a boat. But I would say again that if you happen to kill fish and other animals yourself, I would say quitting uh, from this job is very good, because you can find another job, even a job that doesn't give you so much money, but enough money for survival, because you have things to do in this life in terms of enlightenment. But Buddha did not go to blame those people as the Tilak and Indi, Dr. Pial and Dr. Indi said. Buddha did not go to blame these people who had been killing living beings for survival as their job, because those people should have opportunity to come out of this miserable life and uh, refuge under the Buddha. Buddha knew that they are wrong, but he could not find good jobs for these people, and who could not ask the king and the ministers of the countries to stop these. So it is not matter of Buddha's duty. So Buddha, if I don't have time to take that discourse. There is a discourse in the Gamini Samyutta of Samyutta Nikaya, and he came to us uh, with the question that what happened if you violate this principle. Buddha said that if you intentionally do them, you would definitely in a bad destination. Bante, don't you encourage people to drink by serving alcohol? Bante, don't you encourage people to drink by serving alcohol? If it is, I'm not saying that, I'm not encourage people to give alcohol in a party time. Suppose if you work in a restaurant, you cannot deny that I am a Buddhist and I cannot serve people alcohol. If you can tell to your boss or team leader or manager, try. It is up to you. If you can do it, that's perfect. But if you organize a party and serve alcohol, that is your 100% total your individual decision. You buy them from the store and serve it. That is really negative in my understanding. But if you work in a airport, restaurant, or big hotel, so if your boss or manager or whatever people above you ask you to serve, can you reject it? Can you say that that I don't like this? So if you can, it's okay. But in my understanding, people might experience so much problems in the profession, in the hotel or in the industry, because these people do not consider your individual training, religion. That's what I mean.
Bante, but when Buddha has categorically outlined these things, so I think how we would put this is say it's up to us to make the choice, and we have to be aware. If we do it, we do make bad karma. I mean, there's no two words about it, because he's very categorically, he has underlined these things. And if we like listen to Buddha and we walk the path, and follow those guidelines, I think it's up to us to follow them. But like, I know what you mean. We can't tell people not to do jobs, but then you know what? Right livelihood again is making the right decision, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. That's the point. So we have to know what exactly we do in our life, and if you take right decision about your life, there is a great chance of leaving those very negative thought provocative actions. If you think that that way, I think you can avoid those things.
Absolutely.
The right decision is a part of right livelihood. So those people who want to drink, they definitely drink.
Yes, they'll make any excuse, but then they have to know the repercussions too. The karma follows them.
Either Buddha said or anybody else said that this is wrong, people find excuses to drink. So what I'm saying is that if you work in a restaurant or whatever it is, and you are the only individual who work in that area, and your boss asks you to serve alcohol for people, these people have ordered. So what do you do there?
I would quit the job and find another job.
Yeah, if you can do it, definitely that's fine, right? There are choices.
Exactly. Choices is the most important thing, because it's intention. by
if you value,
intention,
yeah,
they
if
come.
you value your religious, spiritual life more than anything else, it's easy for you to, go away and find
Exactly.
another job where you don't have that serving alcohol and so forth.
Yeah.
Bhante, changing the topic a bit, this grade 40, now, I mean, you are saying this is paticca samuppanna, meaning dependent co-arising, each factor leading to other, right? And most of the eightfold path Buddha talk about the same way. And this kind of leads to, right, knowledge and right release in this particular sutra, like 10 factors, tenfold path. Now, my question is like, I mean, it's very clear now we have to follow each step, like start from, that's why the Sila Samadhi Kanapanya comes into play, right? Some so certain traditions try to plug in, like say, for example, like insight meditation, like without going, I mean, you can't go to straight away to right knowledge without passing through the other factors, right? I believe you need to go through step by step the sila, the right speech, right action, all those to get to concentration, and after that 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 will lead to your right knowledge or insight. With
Yeah.
insight cannot be plugged in, like insight meditation you can just sit and do insight meditation without having the other factors, requisite factors. Do you agree with that? Like this
Indeed, yeah. Yes, I agree with that. There is nothing for me to add, and I think that's the same thing I believe. Uh, uh, the other thing I just want to add here is that the knowledge about the 8 factors and also 10 factors would be very good, and that's the foundation. Just like you have the plan of a house, and now you know what you do and which how much money you have to spend for this house building, because you have the plan, you have the estimate, and so just this is exactly same as you understand the noble eightfold path and also 10-fold path. So now you have to start building the house. So when you build the house, you know exactly how high the walls and how the shape of the roof and what kind of colors you use your painting and so forth. You now are going to experience the house building exactly as it is. So once you know about the 8 qualities and 10 qualities, you have to practice it in a way that you experience the Paticcasamuppada and other important things. Once you complete the noble factors, you feel that shifting nature of your mind towards the Sotapanna or any other enlightened state by completing the 9th and 10th. I thought about it that the right knowledge, Samma Jnana and Samma Vimukti, has been partially completed to the level of Sotapanna when one attains Sotapanna. Because it is not mentioned in the discourse, it is not mentioned in anywhere, but we can understand it through our investigation that part of right knowledge and also release happen when one attains to Sotapanna, because you have been cutting off of 3 fetters, Sangyojana, when you attain to Sotapanna. So that's mean a beginning of the right knowledge and right release into a certain extent.
The breakthrough of, they say, to deathless, right?
Deathless,
Like
yes.
deathless is seen, but not really, like a glimpse of deathless type of thing.
Indeed. It's just like you are going through somewhere through this through a board in the sea, and by a stone you met with an accident. Now you are swimming down to land, and somehow you manage to put your legs on the ground, or at least kind of wood. So now you are not sinking down because you have assurance that you have a footing on something. Therefore, so attaining sovan is something like that you are not going to die anymore. You have assurance that you have seen the truth. So that means you have right knowledge and release at the very initial state, which is permanent.
Yeah. And also, Bhante, that sutra, when you're talking about, there's a sutra about 7 type of individuals. The Sotapanna is the one who kind of sinks, goes to the water, but he comes up
Yeah.
and looks around and sees the island. So in
Yeah.
other words, he sees the end there, and you have to start swimming towards it. But obviously, but at least he's seen it. They've
Yeah.
seen the island. So
He's
yeah.
in a safe,
Yeah, safe,
mode,
that's right.
safe position, because he sees the island, and it's where there is very little for him or her to do in terms of standing on the shore without, there. It's a security. It's a perfect security. So now, yeah, with this, I think all of us try to attain Sotapanna. I think in my understanding, we cannot see some sort of wrong practices and rituals in us. And we do not have particular doubts about the teaching of the Buddha, of the Dhamma, of the Sangha, of the training, karma. Whatever we discuss, it's very clear. So I think we have to deal with the first fetter so much because it's so profound. The other 2 fetters could be easily broken at least 95%, 98%, but with Sakkaya Ditthi, the self view is the biggest one. I think with the weakening of the first, second, and third fetters, we can actually give a big blow to Sakkaya Ditthi into us and find a way out of it. I think all of us should try to be Sotapanna very soon. It's a security. And in my understanding, when I talk to people, I think many people are, closing to the finish line of Sotapanna. They are not in, I don't know, because I am not in a position to judge that you are Sotapanna or not. But through the discussion, I have so much faith on some people that they are doing very good in the training to attain to Sotapanna. So it's very interesting to discuss the Dhamma, because see, in the discussion of the Buddha's teaching, you can see the Paticcasamuppada going on. So you take one factor and you can combine another factor to it. And if we look at the unwholesome side of us, we can see the Paticcasamuppada there as well. So you say this wrongdoing is because of this, and that is because of something else. And so Paticcasamuppada is very clear in both sides. So let's work on that. So we have been running out of time today. I think we should stop the class now because some people go to sleep early. So thank you very much for your contribution as usual. And those who ask questions in the chatting box, you are really appreciated. If we haven't answered enough for your question and concern, you may raise them again in the next discussion. We are very happy to discuss them. And don't wait until I finish my explanation to ask questions. You can ask at the very beginning, then I stop my explanation and take those questions. Because the very idea of this session is to take the opportunity and discuss the Dhamma. So we can take another week for the discourse, but the questions you had in your mind would be answered and thoroughly discussed at that same time. So thank you for your concern on the chatting box. So those who listen to the discourse, think about the grade 40, and I encourage you to read the discourse later on and get many ideas of the Dhamma and links to the other Dhamma factors, so that we can all grow together in the noble training and the Dhamma. So with that, I wish you blessings. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. May you attain to supreme security, the Nibbana, very soon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bhante.